Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped, back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we have a very, very special video, one you guys have been screaming for a very, very long time. We have the Meta Guide PvP tier list video with my boy, my homie, and my alliance member, Mr. Itachi. How you doing, my man?
I'm fine. How are you, Stump?
Good, man. Good. Welcome back to the channel. As always, I do love to get you on when we can sync our timelines, being on the opposite ends of the world.
It took like 2 weeks to find the time.
Yeah, but we get it done. If you guys don't know Itachi, I'll leave a link to all of his stuff down below. He does put out content for OPTC. The man, his brain works a little bit differently when it comes to PvP, and I really like it. So he's a man I go to when it comes to sort of testing stuff. We bounce off each other a lot, and we do have some differentiating opinions as well on certain things. But realistically, we sort of fall in line in terms of the same metrics of PvP, which is a lot of fun. So I'm very excited for today's video. We're going to basically talk about our top 10 PvP teams, and then we're going to do a bit of a deep dive into them, starting off from 10 to 8, 7 to 6, 5 and 4, 3 to 2, and then finally the number 1 team in the game, and we'll probably talk about them in a little bit more detail. But just be mindful that this is just our personal opinion, playing the game for God knows how long. How long have you been playing the game for, my man?
Since the beginning, almost.
Since the beginning.
Maybe 4 or 5 months after release.
That's crazy. Like I started around, well, what was it? I think it was the 2.5 anniversaries when I first started playing. I think. I actually did a video on Sabo Koala 6 Plus the other day, and I went back to the start of my channel like 5 years ago, and I was like, damn, that's a long time ago. But from the beginning, 11 years ago, is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember going up 5 in the morning for Clash or Raid Blackbeard, like a strength one, and Dex Doffy.
Jesus Christ, that is ancient. I remember back in the day when you used to like farm up raid characters and keep like 30 copies in your box.
Yeah. Mihawk, Dex Mihawk.
Wild. Well, like I said, look, we've been playing the game for a little while. Don't take this word as gospel. There is a bunch of other good resources out there, like the Rumble sheet and stuff like that. But look, as 2 avid Rumble players, it's by far my favorite game mode in OPTC, and I'm sure it is yours as well, Itachi. But today we're going to focus on pure Rumble and Super Rumble. So we will sort of touch on Grand Party and Assault Rumble a little bit, but at the end of the day, those game modes are stems of the original PvP. So, you ready to do this, my man?
Yeah, go for it.
So, if we dive over here, I do have a tier list pretty much all drawn up, and Itachi can see this as well. As you can see, we have our honorable mention. We have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.5, 3, 2.5, and 2. You guys will have to wait until we get to this part of the video to understand what the hell I mean by that. And then finally, we have the Covenant number 1 spot. So starting it off, we have our honorable mention, which is the Cerebral team. Now, I did want to put Cerebral on this tier list somewhere because they do have some crazy potential. But look, I just don't know what the fuck's going on with the team. I don't know how to build a good Cerebral team. I've tried them. I just can't get them to work. Have you given them any thought at all?
They're pretty wonky, and when you build them, they're just the in team. They are wonky like Dragon. Like, that's the issue.
Yeah, they tend to just sort of fall into the category of being like an in-space team. Like, we have already said Dragon and Genie and stuff like that in release. Sabo Koala 6 Plus, and we do have some wonky stuff with the Revolutionary Army, but like, and then we obviously have that Lilith and Vega Force PvP rare recruit, which is just absolutely broken. But for me, like, I can't really put them higher than honorable mention, but if they decided to jag maybe 10th, 9th, or 8th, let us know in the comment section below. And while you guys down there, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. It helps out the channel quite a bit.
Like, they just need 1 or 2 units, and they're up there.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen in PvP, like, all it takes is 1 unit to sort of skyrocket a team. So, next, coming in at number 10th, chime in if you have any disagreements, my man. I've got the Quick Driven Slasher team. Specifically, the Driven Slasher variant, because Quick is just arse. Like, it's just so bad.
They're just bad, man. I tested them so many times. They're like, nah. Number 10 is perfect.
They had a bit of potential with like that quick powerhouse kind of build with Blackbeard, and you were using stuff like Magellan and 6 Plus Kaido when he first came out. Like, that was sort of rocking socks there, but like I don't know, man. They're just quickly just bad. But the slasher driven team we have for you guys is pretty spicy.
Yes.
Speaking of slashers as well, we do have number 9 coming in is the slasher team. How the mighty have fallen, my guy. You guys, you know I'm a big slasher man. And to see them down 9 spot.
You always were.
Sorry?
You always were the slasher guy.
I am honestly ever since like OG Shank's crew, V1 Roger and Odin, bro, back in the day when PvP first came out. Oh, that was glorious times.
I remember everyone ran slashers with S-Hawk, and I didn't have him. So
yeah, you missed S-Hawk for a very, very long time. Like I'm talking like you only pulled that unit like a month ago.
Yep. Like was it maybe March?
Absolutely wild scenes. But rounding it out for the last part before we dive into some teams, I've got the Dex team here. The Dex team, it's a bit wonky. It's probably one of the better Assault Rumble teams. But as for regular PvP, it does lack just a little bit. So I do have it coming in as number 8th. What do you reckon here? Do we reckon we dive into some teams?
Yeah.
So starting it off at number 10, we had the quick driven slasher team. And I have a tier list for you guys with pretty much every single quick unit on it. Now, you can obviously change and like chop and change some characters on the list, but starting it off at the sort of this meta team, this is probably the best version of quick that you're going to see in the PvP game mode. Now, obviously, we are in a world where PvP, there isn't like one best team. It's not like it's just like one team that's going to demolish everything, but each color and class does have like a bespoke team that kind of just does better against majority of the game base. So the meta team looks like this. We're running 5 driven characters being Zoro, Cross Guild, Shiryu, Fuji, and Blue Jam. And then we have our 5 slashers being Zoro, Cross Guild, Roger and Odin, Smoothie, and Shiryu. With that, you actually get the full passive of and 8 quick units, very important for Roger and Odin. But you get the full passive Roger Odin, you get the full passive of Cross Guild, and with that, you've got some pretty nasty shenanigans with rollbacks with Cross Guild and Smoothie. You've got special charge with Luffy and Rodin, and then you've got this absolute demon that is 6+ anniversary Zoro that came out for the 11th anniversary as a monstrous hitter. Now, I did a showcase on this team. It tore through majority of the challenge fights. The super special of Zoro is incredibly easy to get as well. I found it very, very accessible. Pretty much in every single fight, this man was popping his special off in the 50th second mark.
Is it 2 hits?
Yes, it is. It is a two hit special, and he's bulky. He's a bulky boy. So
yeah, I want him later.
Yeah, look, a lot of people aren't going to have him right now, unless you're a satanic individual like myself and did summon on his banner, and had the 9 copies ready to go in your box to max him out. But yeah, he's very, very good. Obviously, being driven and slasher, he does help out with the mold of having slashers and having driven characters, and then having the full quick team, you obviously get the rollback of Roger and Odin. As for other options, you don't really have much wiggle room with this team, and it's a big reason why it's 10th. Like, you have some very good characters in quick. Like, you could, like I said, you can do some stuff with Powerhouse, with Kaido and Magellan. You've also got Blackbeard, who I've got down here. Like, you could definitely run Blackbeard in this kind of like Powerhouse matrix. The 6+ of Kuzan's pretty fantastic. And Weevil was an absolute demon of a PvP rare recruit. But where do you think Quick have gone wrong? Like, why do you think they're just not on the echelons of any other team?
Like they lack the damage. Like Zoro helps for sure, but they can't kill anyone. And the defense is pretty lackluster too. They just die.
Yeah, I find that if they don't like destroy the team in the first sort of 60 to 70 seconds, that last 30 seconds for them is so bad. Especially with this bench, like it's just not happening. It's not happening.
Yeah, they need one unit to just bypass defense. They have Weevil in the end, but
yeah, the problem is like you need driven slashers, right? So like you've got plenty of slasher characters. It's the driven characters that kind of a little bit lackluster, and then it's like who do you replace? You got to take off Luffy, and then the team doesn't really function the same way that it's meant to. But look, Quick, all it takes is one unit, and they could go to the absolute moon.
You can put Weevil in the front instead of Luffy.
You definitely can. You definitely can. The problem is that you lack a lot of speed. and you don't get the cooldowns that Luffy can provide to help with the rollbacks and the extra special for Zoro.
Or Smoothie, like Church is good. But that's an option if you want more of an offensive.
Yeah, definitely could do something like this if you're looking for more offense. But then you lack that rollback, and you don't have exactly enough defense to kind of stop the enemy. So I find that Smoothie kind of needs to come. And she's probably on the horizon of a 6+ in the future. Moving on to the next team, we have number 9. Like I said, how the mighty have fallen. We have the Slasher team. Slashers are so strange, my guy, because they have so many good units, but the team is just not there.
They don't have the synergy. Like they lack something, both offensive and the defense on the later half.
I find that their offense is good, but it's not just like at that elite, like top 2 or top 3 level elite. And then the HP and defense they have, it's just nowhere near enough to get that second round to just finish teams off. Like, Roger Riley Gaban is great. Like, you can do good damage. But they're not really killing 3 units. Like, S-Hawk and, like, nowadays isn't exactly just 3, like doing a 3-shot. Mihawk obviously is pretty new, so, like, you're not going to have him at 150. But if you do, like, the team might look a little bit different. But even in saying that, too, though, like, the team's so squishy that if you get hit with stuff like halve stats, rollback, special bind, action bind, the team can crumble pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think they need a debuffer. Like, someone that helps, like Usopp Lilith, someone like that. Yeah,
they are missing a lot of shenanigans, aren't they? They're like, you've got Shanks for damage, S-Hawk for damage, Mihawk for damage, Zoro Sanji can use haste just to help with the damage, and then you've got halve stats, which is pretty much all you're rocking. And even on your bench, you've just got like action bind, which is a little bit, and then more damage. So it is a bit lackluster. You do have a bit of options though, with like Shanks's. Could do something
Shanks like this. If you want to if you want to kill with Roger.
Yeah, so having like this Shanks setup can work a little bit nicer too, because of the 5,000 damage.
Sulong, you have her. I don't have. I still don't have her.
Yeah, so I have her. I have them at 150. They provide some good defense, and you always get their super special off. But the bench isn't strong enough to warrant losing that unit, and they're the one that needs to die. So like if these characters die first, and then the super special goes, and you just hit no one, it's just like it's a wasted super special. And then your bench has to come in with no special.
Yeah.
So
their bench is also pretty weak. Yeah.
The bench is very weak. Like these are great units. Like I said, like individually, all these units are fantastic. But like Itachi said, they just don't really synergize that well. Moving on to number. Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, go on.
Well, moving on to number 8 now, we have the Dex team. And Dex, I think you actually put it quite elegantly before we started recording. Dex are just Dex. They're just kind of there. They're kind of plodding along. It was weird that like 6 months ago they were like, or probably not 6 months ago, more like 9 months ago they were like the best team in the game.
I remember with Pizarro and Wolf, like they were pretty up there.
Yep.
And then they just fell off. Also being the sacrifice team in GP.
Yes. So the upside to this team, like you said, is this team has so much value in Grand Party and Assault Rumble. And if this was an Assault Rumble or a Grand Party tier list, I do think that the team will be a lot higher. Especially in Assault Rumble. Like, this lineup in Assault Rumble, even the season that we have right now, it just, like, tears through everything. And it's like, oh, you don't have the boosted units. It's like, fine, just run this Dex team, and you're going to get a fairly decent score, even if the characters aren't boosted or hitting with type advantage.
I agree. I also run a wonky, like shooter-based Dex team. It's not like that good, but you can use Lulu like an option.
So you could do some fun stuff with like shooters. Actually, I think I've spoken to you about this team. You can do stuff with like Frankie. You've got Lucci. You've got Kizaru here, and then you could do some fun stuff with like I don't know. Actually, don't know if I put Lulu on the tier list. I might have accidentally. Oh no, there they are. Definitely an option. We'll put them up here in great subs
Yeah.
if you want to do something like that. You got Kuzan, who's a shooter.
Like Usopp,
Yeah.
like they're pretty strong. Like I tested them. They win. The only downside is that Lulu doesn't get attack. So when he hits, he doesn't hit that hard. Like compared to the shooter team. When he's there.
Yeah, for sure. Like they definitely shine more on the shooter team. But the upside to Dex is you do have a lot of flexibility too. As you mentioned, you do have that shooter variant. You have the free spirit variant with Dragon. You've got Morley Karasu. You've got Ace, who's a free spirit character. You've got Sanji, and then you've also got like the Powerhouse variant where you've got Kaido, Big Mom Katakuri. You've got this Big Mom as well.
Yeah.
If you have a look at this whole lineup here, it's very driven Powerhouse centric. That's why Big Mom Katakuri works so well in the front lines. If you guys are struggling and you like want a little bit more sustain, like you can always run Lucci in the front. This 6+ Lucci is absolutely phenomenal. Like one of the best 6+ PvP characters.
It's pretty good. I think the Dex still lacks damage. Like they have Kaido, but like if you face like Free Spirit with high defensive, like Ace doesn't do enough, and then they just die. And like all of them are strong, like Wolf, Pizarro, but no one does like good damage. They just
I always found them to be a really good sort of defensive based build. Very tanky, very stally. Could stall fights out very easily too.
Yeah, I hate going up against them. Like somehow they just become so much better.
Yeah, the product of the AIs, right? But look, Dex is there. Like I said, in Grand Party, they're that very good sacrifice team for the second fight. If you've already won the first fight, you want to salvage burst. Throw the Dex team second, and you know that you're going to get a result. They're going to be able to eat 2 bursts, and then you can go on. And in Assault Rumble, they can just get you some really, really nice points too. So that's our bottom part of the tier list sorted. Moving on to the next part, we have some pretty interesting teams for the next ones. And as for our 6 and 7 slot, you and me we're really in non-agreement for this particular one, but we're both agreement that both these teams should be either respective 6 or 7, no matter how you cut it. So coming in number 7th, we have the Psy team, and then coming in number 6, we have the Striker team. Now,
you can switch them around if you.
Yeah, talk to me. So
I leave that to you.
I would have it like this, and once we get to the teams, I'll show you why. But I understand why you want to put Strikers above Psy. What's your logic for Strikers being above Psy?
I just find them to be more like balanced. Like they have good units. Like the Psy team, if it doesn't go your way, like it's pretty bad. Like if Garp and Kizaru fail, it doesn't, like if you hit by confusion, action bind maybe.
Yeah,
like, it's a bit of a risk.
I find the Striker team has a lot more balance to it, like you said. You have a lot more options to kind of chop and change depending on what you're going up against. And like I said at the start, like towards the start of the video, there's no team that's kind of like, all right, I'm going to run this team and I'm just going to beat everything in my path. Like, there's nothing that's going to stand in my way. So Strikers, having that flexibility to chop and change does give it a little bit more freedom, unlike the Psy team. And if we jump over to the tier list now for the Psy team, you guys will see why.
Yeah. Both have the same issue. Like, not a lot of options. Like, it's one team.
I think Strikers have more options, but they're still very paywall. The Psy team, for me, if you're not running like this lineup of Psy, then you don't really have that many other options. Like you're kind of stuck. You can chop and change a little bit, but not so much that is going to like make the Psy team on the same level as what these other teams are.
Yeah, then you go back to like 2020. If you're going to run Psy, Luffy, Gear 5, Yamato.
Yeah, well, if you go back before the 11th anniversary, the Psy team was non-existent. And even this team right here, we call it the Straw Hat Admiral team or the Straw Hat Navy team, because for this team to operate, you need to run 4 Straw Hat characters and you also need to run 4 Navy characters, which is kind of fine because the PvP Akainu is just so demonic. Garp, obviously, with his auto proc is absolutely phenomenal. And the Kizaru giving level 7 cooldowns is absolutely demonic as well. So you can do some really, really fun stuff with this core in the front. And then we all know how powerful the Anniversary Nami is. The Straw Hat Luffy, Zoro, Sanji is just absolutely crazy. And then these rare recruits that came out alongside the part 1 of the anniversary, the 11th anniversary, they just work so well as bench characters, like so ridiculously well, especially the Robin.
Yeah. I wish she will be a front unit, but yeah.
Well, before I was talking to you about this kind of Kizaru Garp combination that you threw into the works, I was running more something like this. And look, I didn't even have PvP Akainu at the time because, like, I wasn't going to summon for that unit. But I was running more something like this sort of lineup here, where we're running like Law, Esper on the bench, which I didn't love. I do like running Esper in the front if I'm going to run him anywhere, but this is kind of what I was running. But at the same time, like you said, you kind of go back to 2022 with like Wano Law, who's not really providing that much besides cooldown, obviously.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that strong. I will put them like top. Yeah, like up the quick team.
Yeah, you'd probably put them down somewhere down like where the slashes are, sort of down that way. But this particular lineup is absolutely demonic. I love running this team so much. Now, Akainu is obviously is a bit of a luxury. You can definitely do some stuff with Esper in the front and still run the team very similar to this. That way you won't need Hina. But Akainu, his damage through defense is disgusting. The level 7 cooldown that Kizaru gives to Navy units just allows Garp and Akainu to go so ridiculously fast. And if you get hit with a 150 Garp, and then you kill the Garp, and you have to get hit by another 150 Garp, you're in for a rough time. You're in for a really, really rough time. Yep.
Remember I showed you the video versus the Powerhouse, the Pikqchu challenge? Like, I took them down in, what was it, 26 seconds or something.
Absolutely wild scenes. And the upside to this team too is, like, your goal is to lose Kizaru, right? Like, Kizaru, like, you want him to maybe use his special once, and then die as soon as he uses his special. And then you have Robin come in. And Robin's special is actually pretty good. She can do some rollback, and she does some nerfing in her passive, but she doesn't actually need to use her special in the fight, because she kind of comes in and she does a whole bunch of nerfs with her passive, which then just allows Garp to hit harder, allows Straw Hats to hit harder, and it all works really, really nicely. As for Jinbei, he's actually a rainbow booster, provided you have 4 Straw Hats as well. He's a really good back-end bench nuker as well, I find. And because you need that 4th Straw Hat, I do think he's the best option. But you do have characters like this Frankie. He's phenomenal, that came out for the 11th anniversary. You do have the Chopper that you could throw on the team. And there's also the, I don't think I have him here, but the Usopp that came out alongside those units too.
Yeah, the issue with Sai and Striker that I can't build any of them. So you're the only one that can build these.
Well, look, I do have a level 150 Nami too, and she goes absolutely AWOL on enemies' asses. She is the Nami Karina that I dreamed of.
Yeah, she's a beast with the 150.
Yeah, so but then
super special.
Moving into the number 6 slot, we have the strike team, as we spoke about. And as we sort of touched on, this particular team, it has a little bit more options if you guys are missing some of the more pay-to-win sort of lineups. That Psy team, it's very pay-to-win in terms of the what characters are locked behind the wall. And in saying that, the meta team for this one is actually pretty locked behind a pay meta wall too. However, you have a lot of illustrious characters that a lot of people are summoning for.
Yeah.
Roger Rayleigh Gaban, the Rocks Pirates, the PvP Rare Recruit Lilith and Vega Force are so fantastic. Strikers can just do some wonderful, wonderful things.
I like this team a lot. Like, Vega Force is very strong.
Vega Force is gross. The downside to this team is you need to balance it with the new tag system. Obviously, the new tag system does make it a little bit challenging. And look, both these teams are products of the tag system, making it very challenging. You do need 6 egghead characters for this team to function. Roger Rayleigh Gaban, to get them to function perfectly, you do want to have 6 in characters as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 egghead characters. And as you can see at the back here, we have the 6 in characters to sort of get us along the line. But when before we started this video, I actually have Nami up here in my top team. I don't rate Bonnie that much. I think we both can agree that Saturn is fucking ass. Unless we're talking Assault Rumble, which is the perfect place for him because it's Arse Rumble.
Like, sure, he provides the defense, like he makes the team more strong, like defensively, but
he's like more bulky.
He's not worth it. Yeah. Yeah, bulky. Yeah. An option too, like he's underrated. That's versus Law. Like he can.
Yes, I agree. I think Verse Law
Like
is fantastic as well. But like the problem is like where do you fit these characters in for this particular lineup? Now you don't have to run 6 int characters for Roger Rally Gaban. Hell, you don't even need to run Roger Rally Gaban. You could probably just like substitute them off and then put something like Law in the front, like here, like this.
Yeah.
But like,
or remove Bonnie.
Yeah, like for me, I don't like Bonnie. I think this when you go up against slashes especially, Law just provides so much. Yeah. But the team is just it's very well balanced in the sense that you've got a bunch of half stats with the sword units, Bonnie, and the Rocks Pirates. You've got good damage output with Roger Rally Gaban, the Vega Force unit, as long as you have the 6 cerebral characters. Sorry, 6 strikers and 6 egghead characters. Bonnie also needs 6 strikers, but that's pretty easy to do. This team isn't actually a full striker team, as you guys will notice here. We have S-Hawk and we have Dole on the bench, which came out with Saturn, who we'll touch on in a second. Bit of a weird one, bit of a weird and wonky one, not being a striker character, but buffing strikers. You got good damage output. Team. Sorry, what was that?
It's a scary team, man. Like
it is a very.
I wouldn't go
team.
Against them. Yeah,
it is one of those things, especially when you get Bonnie to level 150. Like her super special is nasty, absolutely nasty. 40% rollback to the like. Sorry.
And sword too. Like if she goes.
The sword unit is hit or miss for me. Like it can either like set you up for a guaranteed win or just set you up for a guaranteed loss. I find that if you confuse one of the right characters, you're in for a good time, but like it can also backfire on you pretty hard. But shield's nice, half stats are nice, so that's always nice too.
Yeah.
Anything else to touch on? Oh, the Dole character. So Dole and Bluegrass, this character right here, came out alongside Saturn, and both of them actually buff strikers, but they're not actual striker characters. And the idea was that you need 6 strikers for Saturn, so you could then run these 2 characters on the team to kind of just get the most out of buffing Saturn himself. But overall, they're pretty mid characters. Dole's kind of just here because you need an int character, you need an egghead character, and Dole kind of fits the bill.
Smoker is good for the bench.
Smoker's quite nice too. You've got characters like Weevil, who's an egghead character. You could easily substitute him in. If you guys wanted to run Saturn for whatever reason, you could then substitute stuff like Weevil in. For me, I'm a big fan of Nami. This Nami, she can either work or she can fail. Especially in Assault Rumble, she's pretty much like the RNG god alongside this VV Rebecca 6+. It's a big reason why I have her up on this tier list. It's because in Assault Rumble, if you guys want to do big damage, you got to spam some gems, get some RNG. But yes, that's strikers. Anything else you want to touch on?
Nah, I'm just waiting for the Vega Force. For now.
Yeah, look, this character is very, very good. If you haven't done the discount on their banner, I would recommend doing it, just for a chance of picking them up because they are phenomenal characters.
Yeah,
they work better on the striker team, just because obviously Usopp Lilith is a thing.
Yeah, but the striker team can just get better. Like I like them for now. So
yeah, the damage output they have, I think they hit like 4 times, and they can hit like a multitude of units at once, which is absolutely crazy. So, very, very nice stuff. Coming in at number 6 is strikers. But again, if you have, say, less pieces of the striker team and more pieces of the side team, then I can understand why you'd swap it around. For me, I have it like this. For Itachi, he has it like this. I think we can agree in the middle that it's just they're both very good teams, but not in the top 5.
And they're both very different, like completely different teams.
Definitely. But the striker team does resemble a team that is a little bit higher up. But before we get to that, let's dive into our 5th and 4th place. And again, this is another one that we agree to disagree on, but understand the premise of why we have them where they are. So coming in at 5th, we have the Free Spirit team. And coming in at number 4th, we have Old Reliable, Old Faithful, Powerhouse, Driven. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, like both of these teams are so good, but both of them also lack something to really shine. Like top 3.
So
Like,
my
I
man
want them to
Itachi
be
here,
better.
he's not a fan of the Driven Powerhouse meta. Like, I feel like he's moved on from how powerful Driven and Powerhouse was back in the day, and he's left old scars behind.
Yeah. I can't handle them anymore. Like, I've tested them so many times. Everyone says they're so good, but I don't see it.
Doesn't say it. So coming in number
see.
5, you do have the Free Spirit team, and the upside to the Free Spirit team is you have a lot of flexibility. Like you have so many different options that you can chop and change with this particular lineup. Take it away.
Free Spirit, like sometimes I feel they have too many options. It's hard to decide. Like, what do you use? Do you use Namikarina? Do you use waifus? Do you use Odin? Do you use... Yeah, the list is so long. So many use Zoro still, like defensively. But the core is Luffy and Roger really Gabon. Like,
Yeah.
those two are always on the front, and then you can switch around how you see fit.
I think that this team is a product of needing Roger Relegabon at 150 to be as high as it is as well. Like, if we go back to some of these other teams, like if we look at, say, the Slasher team, they definitely need Roger Relegabon at level 152. But if you take a look at the Psy team and the Striker team, they don't really need the 150 Bonnie. They don't need the 150 Nami to be as powerful as they are. But for Free Spirit, like they kind of rely on Roger Relegabon and that amazing super special that they have. Now, this particular meta team that you guys will see here, this one is actually fairly new. We obviously have anniversary exclusive Dragon, who, if you have this character at level 150, like, holy shit. Like, this character at 150 is a demon. Like, an absolute demon. It goes from 3 Rumble specials to 2 Rumble specials, which is a huge buff to the super special, and hits all enemies for a 40% rollback, and gives your entire team a 40% cooldown on top of doing damage and 100% haste to Revolutionary Army characters. Now, there's not a lot of Revolutionary Army characters in the game. We all know how shit the tag system is, but there is one new character that came out for the end of the 11th anniversary, being 6+ Sabo and Koala. And this character, I remember messaging you, actually, when we got Dragon's information, when we got the Sabo Koala 6+ information, and I said, that double defense down drop will be pretty nasty with the amount of damage output that Sabo Koala can have. And damn, man, it is really, really nice.
They hit hard, huh?
They hit very hard, especially if you got the passive of Dragon that gives defense down, the special of Sabo Koala that also does damage, drops defense, hits again, and if you have Pizarro go, because Pizarro's on a very low cooldown, like he's on like a 20-something second cooldown.
20-something, yeah.
He usually goes right before Dragon, so you have like a half stat hit, Dragon into Sabo Koala, who are hitting for like 27,000, like within the first 30 seconds. It's pretty damn wild how much damage output you can get. Now, a lot of people were sort of looking at Dragon like, well, there's not enough Revolutionary Army characters to make the team work, but having too many Revolutionary Army characters can actually be a detriment to your team, because when you're getting the 20% rollback and then you're getting your character's haste, you then have to attack with your characters, which gives the enemy a chance to get their cooldowns back, and then the rollback has just been completely pointless at that point. So I feel like having just one Revolutionary Army character, maybe 2 maximum, on top of Dragon, is all you need to make Dragon work well in the Free Spirit lineup.
I agree on that. Like, sometimes it can backfire. Too many haste.
Yeah, and you do have like a Morley Karasu. They're probably the other one that can kind of slide into the team, but at what cost? Like, what character are you replacing in this lineup? Before Dragon and Sabo Koala came out, as you mentioned, you have a lot of options. Like, you've got the 6+ waifus that came out for the New Year celebration. They're fantastic. You've got the Odin character that you can kind of slide on the bench or use them in the front with their super special. Just absolutely demolishing driven characters, which is really, really nice. You could run something like Namikarina if you want some rollback there. Use the defensive option of Zoro in the front that a lot of people like to do with stuff like Grand Party. Free Spirit is still a fantastic Grand Party team, by the way. Like, the rollback defense drops that you can get here, and then the counter mechanic of Zoro is still very, very powerful.
I also use Morley. He's pretty good.
Yeah, running something like Morley and Carousel with their forced out, they work exceptionally well too. You could do
Special Bind and Bleed, I think it does.
Yeah, I find
what's
Pizarro
it
is really
called?
good for that as well. Like, if you need someone to special bind, like, having Pizarro in the front works really, really well. And Free Spirit are one of those teams that you can mold the team to meet what you're fighting. I found that when I was fighting the, what's it called? The Driven Powerhouse Challenge, you just need a little bit more damage up front, and running something like this just, like, claps it in the first 40 seconds because you have so much damage output. Free Spirit really struggle with damage output, but then if you rely on too much damage, you lose a lot of defense. So then you need to sort of replace Kuzan with something like Pizarro, but then you end up being too slow, not having enough damage, and then losing that sort of 40-second mark. So they're in a much better place. And with the Dragon Saber Koala combination, which is out on the channel, by the way, go check out the video if you guys want to have a look at that. But they've had some pretty good buffs.
It's a good how do you say? Good for now. I want to see more support for Free Spirit, like something else. Like Dragon is hard to get for now.
Yeah, but look, I think at the end of the day, all of these teams are very like the best of the best characters sort of fall into line when it comes to the meta-based teams.
Yeah, and Sentomaro is also an option for the front.
Yes, you can easily run him in the front too. He can special bind, which is great. Helps Luffy a lot too. So you can do some fun stuff there. But whilst I do love Free Spirit, I do have a special place in my heart for this particular team right here. The Powerhouse Driven team. Now, I remember seeing Pika's information get leaked, and everyone was just like, man, this character sucks. This character's ass. And I think within maybe 4 to 5 seconds of the character's release, when people tried that challenge fight, everyone went, holy shit, this Pika's really good.
Yeah. He can be, I argue for him to be the best PvP legend as well. He and Kuma.
I think it's wild that, yeah, he's a legend. But yes, he's very, very good. And being in that sort of top echelons of top 3 legends, it's a big call. It's a very, very big call. Which look, we'll have another video out at some point. Hopefully we can tee up some time. But yeah, the Pika is just absolutely demonic. And then obviously with Blackbeard, this team relies on having 5 powerhouse characters, but then also having like a very driven makeup. So Big Mom Katakuri, their super special is demonic. Luffy, probably the best PvP character. We could probably all agree that he is the #1 PvP unit in the game. Not PvP legend, but just PvP unit as a whole. He's probably #1. The bench is so ridiculously strong. You have Sanjuan, Wolf, S-Hawk, and Kuma. The downside is that you don't really have any synergy with these sort of 3, but at the same time, like, they're all driven, all powerhouse, so they can kind of come in and get buffed by everyone else. Pika's nerfing, Blackbeard's nerfing, you've got damage with Luffy, you've got counter with Big Mom Katakuri, and then you've got your favorite unit of all time, Kaido and King. Take it away. Like, what are your thoughts on Kaido and King?
He's just bad. Like 3 times he needs to be hit for the super special. That almost never happens.
With Pika, it does. I have to disagree with you there. Pika helps Kaido and King so much. Like, so much. It's like not even funny how much Pika helps Kaido and King.
I have tried, but either he dies or he goes, like, he hits the first without. He needs still to survive for a long, long time.
I do agree in the sense that it is still too much. Like, the difference between having 3 super specials and
maybe
2
1 or 2
is massive.
In 10, yeah.
It's a big difference.
His passive is okay, and even his special attack, like, versus some teams, it's not good enough. Like,
oh, look, for me, I always find that if his super special goes to 150, he's hitting goddamn hard. But look, the team can get rolled by like some shooter teams. It can get rolled. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't like him much. Like, I just want someone else to take that spot.
And look, that's very fair. It is a very, very, very fair. Like, for me, like, they're probably the next one to go on the team, but at the same time, like, there's not really that many other options. You could easily do something with Doflamingo, bring Doflamingo into the front line. He did get a level limit break. He does buff driven characters. Yeah. He does bypass defense on 1 unit, but for me, it's just not enough. I would rather have Kaido and King, especially with...
I tested him too. Like, maybe I would rather go with Kuma on the front, to be honest.
With Kuma? Yeah, look, Kuma's definitely a shout too. You could easily run Kuma
yeah.
up the front here. He works great. Obviously, you have the strength buffs of Pika buffs Fighter and Driven, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's why I like having Luffy, because Luffy still gets the buffs from Pika.
Pika?
Yeah.
But Luffy can buff Kuma.
Luffy can, but defense. Luffy also buffs Pika, so it's a wonky team, and it's not like perfect synergy, but just by the pure like demolition of these characters, the synergy with these three in particular, Pika, Blackbeard, and Big Mom Katakuri, they hold down so much defense and shenanigans that the other two characters can just be your damage dealing units and just come in and go absolutely ballistic. Hell, even if you did something like this with Kuma and Luffy in the front. Sorry? Yeah.
This is how I meant from the
right, okay. Yeah, see, like, even if you did something like that would be totally acceptable for me. And hell, you could even run, like, Whitebeard and Ace on the bench or something else on the bench there. But...
yeah, I have tried, like, so many things with this team, and it doesn't work, man. Like,
well, look, this team is definitely a product of investment. Like, a 150 Big Mom Katakuri is a must. They're super special.
Yeah, mine is 99.
Bro, like, they're super special. If you get their super special off into a Kaido and King regular special, or their super special. If you go super special, the game is over. Like, you will kill the entire team. And it's not even close.
I see I see the potential, and it's there, like, if you have the investment. For me, when I use them, like, the damage isn't enough. Like, even when Luffy hits, and then you just die or lose some units. So, yeah, you need 150 for this team to actually work.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But
in saying that too, like...
Team,
sorry?
But a very good defense team.
And a very good Grand Party team as well, with the right leader.
Yeah.
But Free Spirit, they do have Oden, Kinemon, Denjiro, who can force it out. So there are some teams that can take it down, and that is sort of a big reason why I don't have them in sort of the top echelons of the tiers. Now, once we get to this sort of the pointy end, we're going to talk about 2 down to 3.5, and the difference between 2 and 2.5 to 3 is going to get a little bit weird, going to get a little bit wonky, but essentially, like, the teams are still in the same vein. So, coming in at number 3, again, this is where we agree to disagree between our second and third spots. Coming in at number 3, we have the Int team, and coming in at number 2, we have the Strength team. Now, before we started this video, we were sort of tossing and turning, because Strength are an interesting one. They have 2 very different teams that are both still Strength. And Int, as we mentioned earlier, are very Cerebral-centric. So, for our 3.5 base team, we have the Int Cerebral combination. And then for our 2.5, we actually have the Shooter Strength Fighter build, which is a very, very interesting one that I know you love a lot. So, where do you want to start on this one? Should we start on the Int team?
Yeah, go for it.
So diving into the Int team. Now, this one has come out of the woodworks. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of Cerebral characters in this lineup. There are a lot of Cerebral characters on the bench, and you have a lot of flexibility with this particular build too. But the big one, the big addition to the team is actually Roger, Rayleigh, and Gaban for the 11th anniversary. Other than that, the team hasn't really changed all that much for most people. Well, actually, the team's actually changed a lot for most people because of the 6+ waifus and what they provide to the team.
Yeah. They are really good. And the Vega Force as an option too.
Yeah, that comes down to the cerebrally kind of build. But way back when, we would mainly run stuff like the Luffy, and we'd run stuff like the Blackbeard, and we'd try and sort of maximize the 5 Powerhouse characters. And whilst you definitely still can do that, you can still run stuff like Bonnie in the front, get some rollback there, get all the nerfs from Blackbeard, get all of the 5 Powerhouse characters. Nowadays, I feel like Int has kind of evolved more into that sort of Int cerebrally comp, because of characters like the waifu 6+, because of characters like Yamato, because characters like Shanks vs. Shanks, Sabo, you've got York, you've got the Vega Force. Like, Int just do some crazy things now.
They have a lot of options and yeah, a fun team to use. Like I see so many use a different setup for the in team. Yeah.
What would your favorite setup be when it comes to int?
For me, it's the waifus and Roger and Sabo. Those three, and Ida versus Shanks on the front. And here I switch around with either York on the front as well, or S-Hawk.
Interesting. So York can go in the front and this is what we were talking about before. Now we're looking more into that sort of that cerebrally kind of build. Besides, obviously Roger and Rayleigh Gaban, who are a slasher and a striker, but I actually really like having Verse Shanks in the front lines too, because Verse Shanks obviously give the slasher and int characters extra buffs. Then when you start cooking with like these three together, you can do some pretty wild things. You get some reliable confusion with the waifus. Sabo gives haste, which 9 times out of 10 will hit S-Hawk. And at that point, you just start demolishing units because Shanks' 5,000 fixed damage puts pretty much anything in kill range for S-Hawk.
Yeah. Like, if you get to go first, you usually kill 2-3 units on the first 35 cents or so.
Yeah, and it's very, very common for you for these types of characters to go. If Roger Rayleigh Gaban obviously go as well, and then you die, like, you can do some disgusting things. You just pop their special, they die, they pop their special again, all of a sudden, you just, like, decimating characters. The Vega Force unit, you could easily run them in the front too if you want to. You could just run something like Vega Force over S-Hawk, again with more of a cerebrally based build. If you're going up against stuff that's really fast, you have Yamato instead of Shanks. You have her ability to sort of pop her auto special, die, and then Roger Rayleigh Gaban go. With the level 15 defense drop, that 4 times damage can hit so ridiculously hard. Obviously, when Yamato dies, the defensive drop helps out Vega Force a lot as well. So, in just like they have so many different ways that they can build realistically the same thing, but at the same time, they are also different at taking on different team comps within the meta.
They're also very bulky, like not just offense, but very bulky as well.
Well, they've all got shields as well. Like the waifus have a shield, the Sabo has a shield. Like characters are just coming in and starting with shields, and then the characters that don't have shields have the double passive from Shanks. So it's like how do you quickly tear through a lineup where they just survive everything? Like, it's mind-boggling.
The only weakness is like damage through defense. Like if S-Hawk hits and you can die, that's the only like risk I can see.
Yeah, look, they do struggle a little bit with stuff like confusion as well. Like you are going to lose the auto proc special of Roger Rayleigh Gaban if you are confused, or if you have I think they're immune to action bind and special bind though, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Big upside to this team is
but
too.
All
is that
teams are weak to against confusion in the end. Like you can't do anything.
Yeah, a lot of teams are weak to confusion, but like.
I also tanked 150 like Kaido Albert, like with this team.
Yeah, right. Yeah, see that.
Like you have like 35 around 30 plus defense. Especially with York on the front, you get even more.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about having York in the front is that Roger Rayleigh Gaban don't really get a passive from that, and then you do lack a little bit of damage from that particular ability. Yeah. And then you're relying on
if you want to kill fast, just bring S-Hawk.
Yeah, I think like for me, this is my favorite sort of setup when it comes to int, just because like Shanks' synergy with these three, and then like giving the extra attack for slashes, allowing them to hit ridiculously hard, and then having these two just really bulky units that can give haste. Like Sabo does good damage too, and the waifus that their super special is so good.
Sabo often haste S-Hawk.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10.
Bring York. Yeah, and when you bring York, he hastes York a lot of times, and that can be annoying.
Yeah, The upside to that is though too, like if he hastes York and then York goes, you get like a level 10 cooldown reduction, and then all of a sudden your characters are going really, really fast. But like I was saying, like you can easily run something like Yamato and do like the double death strat with Roger Elegant and Yamato. I find that that works really, really well against the number 1 team. You can run like this sort of setup as well. Luffy, look, starting to fall off. Blackbeard becomes a little bit wonky in terms of having to build with Powerhouse, but yeah, the in team is very, very good. And the addition, like I said, it only takes one character, like we said earlier. It takes one character to skyrocket a team.
Yeah, they needed the damage in the end. Like, sure, S-Hawk and Shanks, but it wasn't enough for them to shine.
Especially when you start looking at how much damage this unit can do, it's kind of crazy. But for myself, we actually haven't updated this. Let's quickly flick this back, because this is a bit of a spoiler to your particular team. But for myself, I actually like int more than strength. But for yourself, you like strength a little bit more. And the reason I like int just that fraction more is that if int are in a really bad spot, they have counter mechanics with the death shots of these two characters to kind of salvage the run. But with strength, I find they don't exactly have that same luxury when it comes to saving a fight if things don't go their way.
Like, your team is more RNG than mine. Like, Kobe, I don't like him that much. Like, I think I would. I just pulled him for the part 1 anniversary. I didn't have him.
Yeah, that's another character that that's just evaded you forever. So you like to run this sort of comp here with the strength fighter shooters, where you have to run all fighters and shooters to make snake work. Where for myself, I just prefer running like just a generic strength team. And this is another team that is just absolutely demonic over in Assault Rumble. Using something like this in the front, like this is just a straight core. Like works so incredibly well. The rollbacks you get on Uta and Kobe to then give the haste to Luffy. You've like got a bunch of fighter characters here too, with Kainu getting the cooldowns from Kobe. Kuma hits like an absolute truck. In my opinion, Kuma is the best PvP legend in the game. Like, it's just not even a discussion. Really... But then when you start talking about like the waifu level limit break, they just boost strength now, which is really, really strong. And their confusion abilities, their damage output, like they have a shield. They can't be forced out. They become the character that Kobe needs for the passive. You don't have to run PvP Sanji anymore. Because they're a Hancock unit, you can then get the most out of Santa Sonia. The team just, like, every piece of this team holds so much value to the team that it all works so well synergistically. However, as you mentioned, the RNG factor of when Uta gives cooldowns to characters that are already maxed, Kobe gives cooldowns to characters that are maxed, you can miss the haste, and then you're just not exactly taking out units that you want to be taking out.
Even waifu is RNG. The waifu, like Confusion. I don't like that as well.
Yeah, at level limit break 5, it's not though.
Oh, really?
At level limit break 5, it's not.
It's a good team. Like, strength has been top 3 for a long time. Like,
yeah, they kind of fluctuate. They kind of like drop off a little bit, and then they got the injection of Uta, and then they kind of skyrocketed again, and they started to fall off, and then they were like, "Hey, here's 6+ Kuma." And everyone's like, "Holy fuck, the character's so good." And then we got the level limit break of the waifus, and they've just been getting like chess piece after chess piece to make them very, very
more
good.
and more support. Yeah.
Yeah, but for yourself,
I want Uta 150 as well. Like, then we're talking.
Mine's on its way. Mine's 120 and 1 off level the max, whatever it is. So for yourself, how do you like to run your strength based team?
Who do we miss? I think. I'm not sure if it's King as well. No, Kobe is on bench.
Yeah, right. So you're running Kobe on the bench, and then you're probably just running something like King at the back here to make up the.
Yeah.
Or maybe Rise of Shinobu.
Think so. No, he's not. Oh, yeah, he is. Like, sure, right?
Yeah.
But do you get 5 fighters? 1, 2. Yeah, you do. I think he needs.
Either way, like as long as you have the 8 fighters, 5 fighters for Pika.
Yeah.
full fighter
Yeah.
and shooter team for S-Snake. This team actually does work very, very well. I have run it. I did a showcase on it. I think for my particular team, I didn't have Uta at the time. So I think I ran it like this with Kobe.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I used PvP Sanji, I think, as the bench unit, just to make up the Kobe buff.
Yep.
Maybe that's what you do as well, just in case you ever do need Kobe. But
Nah,
Uta,
I don't care about this passive, man. Like, if he's on the bench, you can bring Rise of Shinobu or King.
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
So, but the front, like I found it's much better than the other.
Yeah, look, bolstering the front
Like,
does hold a little bit more value.
Yeah, more bulky. You have S-Snake for city. It's not action. What's it called? And Pika for the shield. Like you survive damage. You can also charge the super specials.
Yep, absolutely.
And S-Snake.
And Pika's cooldown is so low too that you can get it off very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Character that I don't know if you've
And
seen.
he has that.
I don't know if you've seen too much on this particular character though, but with Pika's release, did actually come a very interesting character in one being Doflamingo 6 Plus.
Okay.
Have you seen anything on Doflamingo 6 Plus?
Not much, to be honest.
So Dofi 6 Plus is an absolute demon. Like, he is a weapon. Like, the amount of damage output you can get with this particular character. And in, what's it called? In Assault Rumble, like, this lineup here is just so demonic to get the maximum amount of attack. His super special at level 150 is ridiculously strong. We should be getting him very soon, actually. I think we get him for the next super boss, if my timeline's correct. So I'm very eager to see how the team goes with this, because he's now a strength booster. He's not a driven booster anymore. He's just purely strength.
Strength. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, his damage output is really, really nice. And the thing with my sort of comp here is you actually have space. I think... Oh, no, you don't have space for that. Yeah, you got to take off the waifus, but... yeah, his damage output is absolutely crazy. You got great damage output with Kaido. You can use Ace as well. He works fantastically. Blackbeard for bulk. Like, you've got some good options for strength.
Ace is underrated. Like, he's very bulky.
It's very bulky. And then obviously, because you're running this Luffy. You could also run...
Yeah.
I actually think I forgot to add him onto the tier list. The New Year's Luffy. He's an option too, but look, this Luffy's just better. Like, he's miles better.
Versus like shooters, like the recent Luffy, Spring Luffy.
Yep.
New Year's. He is pretty good. Like when Lulu goes, and if he kills this Luffy, it can ruin your team.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Is it two revives, right? So,
yeah, the double revive is definitely the play when it comes to how powerful that is. So that's pretty much strength in a nutshell, and that sort of brings us, after like a very, very long hour of rambling about PvP, as we love to do, kind of brings us to our last team. And you guys can probably guess what team is missing from the top here. And lo and behold, it is the mighty Shooter team. Shooters, what a rise. What an absolute rise. From an absolute meme to undisputably the best team in the game.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. They were so bad for like since the beginning.
Yeah,
they
definitely struggled. They got some spikes of life back in the film Red celebration with characters like Ben Beckman, Lucky Roo, with like Usopp Yasop. I remember like there was like and then the Uta 6++. There was sparks.
I saw. I think it was Tokz who tried like. The damage was so bad, man.
Yeah, like, it was pretty rough. But then they had some good injections. Raizo Shinobu came. We had Fuji Kizaru.
Yeah, that's true.
We had some stuff like that. But ever since the
I call it baby damage. Like,
yeah, baby dick damage. Now they definitely do not do baby dick damage. They hit fucking hard, and they hit goddamn fast as well. Since the what was it? Realistically, it's been since the Usopp Lilith release, I think. Since Usopp,
Lilith, and Lulu.
And Esper, I think even before Lulu, we saw some really good signs for the shooter team. Yeah. Actually, probably going all the way back to when the sword unit released. That's probably where we first saw signs that shooters could be something. Then we had Esper, but again, shooters, they just weren't there. Then we had Usopp Lilith, but then we had the behemoth beast that is Lulu. What do you have to say about Lulu?
It's one of the best, like, so satisfying when you get the super special. 150. Yeah.
10,000 fixed damage to 2 powerhouse characters with their super special. Now, obviously the character was designed to take down Esper, because, like, that's the fight. So if you have them level in break 1, you do 8,000 to a Psy powerhouse, which, again, they want you to target Esper. But when you get to 150, like, 10,000 damage to any powerhouse characters. And if we quickly slide over here, like, this team gets, like, eaten alive by that super special. Even if you come to this strength team here, Kuma, Luffy, both powerhouse characters. Ints kind of get off scot-free unless you go back to that original powerhouse build with Luffy and Blackbeard. Eaten alive, both these characters just get absolutely decimated. Free Spirit kind of get off a little bit scot-free. Obviously, Strikers probably do too. Psy Team is fairly new. Dex, obviously powerhouse characters everywhere. Quick Team, powerhouse characters everywhere. So that shot from Lulu is demonic. And even not having their super special, they hit really hard on their normal special.
The only, like, weakness they have is revives. Like, if Lulu doesn't kill 1-2 units, you can struggle.
I find they struggle against revives, yes, but auto proc specials. I find the int team, this int team right here, with Yamato in the front, with Roger Rally Gaban and Yamato, this team works very, very well against it, because if these two get hit, they just demolish the entire team. Or this Psy team works really, really well against shooters because of Garp. So they do have holes, and with the release of the new carrot that actually came out today, the information leaked today, they are trying to actively counter this team. Yeah,
Bandai wants to debuff and counter shooters.
And that's just because they're so good, man. They're so good. And you have so many different ways of running them. Like, we have S-Snake. Obviously, you need to run a full shooter team to make S-Snake work. Raizo Shinobu are fantastic. Yeah. You have Kuma. Like the best PvP character in the game is sitting on your bench. Like, it...
Yeah, you can run him in the front as well. For more
definitely
damage,
can.
If you need.
There is a bit of a different combination. I like running Caulifla. The defense down, the half stats work really, really nice. But you can also run the sword unit. Problem with the sword unit is that you can't run Esper because you don't want to have int characters on the team. So you can run stuff like this Usopp at level in break 5, but then you can't run Usopp Lilith. But then you just run Kuma in the front, and all of a sudden you just can throw this on the bench. You can throw Suru in the front for more cooldown reduction. Yeah, like shooters, they've got so many options. You can run Kuzan in the front if you want more damage, being a PvP legend now as well. You can do some phenomenal things.
Like Kuzan is underrated, especially versus like he lowered the defense so much, so he just kills 2-3 units, very easy. Not versus all teams, but
on top of that too, his cooldown's so low, and in Grand Party, he's so good in Grand Party, so ridiculously good in Grand Party.
And special bind, just why not?
Yeah, just a little sprinkle on top. But this team goes ridiculously fast. Usopp Lilith makes them go really, really quick. Lulu also gives cooldown as well, I'm pretty sure. S-Snake rolls back the enemy's cooldown, so you slow them down a lot. So does Usopp Lilith. You're usually using all your specials within the first 30 seconds, and you're killing so many characters that the enemy their team just becomes shambles. And if they don't have depth or they don't have characters to counter that, like the int team does, or the quick team, sorry, not the quick team, the Psy team. If you don't have those types of counters, this team just basically blows away like 4 to 5 units in the first 30 seconds, and then it just kind of just chills for like 30 seconds before it just does it all over again, which is just absolutely wild. However, like I said, it's not foolproof. It's not indestructible to the sense that you can't beat it. But look, at the end of the day, in PvP, no team is.
Yeah, I think so. Like shooters and strain all have weaknesses in the end. But this is the go-to team. Like when you just want to win fast.
Yeah, if you wanna just get your wins done, like your daily wins, or you want to throw a team on Grand Party, or hell, you're playing Assault Rumble and you're just like, I don't know what team to do, and I just want to beat the content. This team will get it done, and it will get it done very easily. Take it into any of the challenge fights, it will mop the floor with every single challenge fight. It does not struggle against any of them, and it just flies. It's so much fun to use. It's so strong. Obviously, you do have very illustrious characters here. Besides Usopp Lilith, every single character is exclusive. You have Anniversary, Kazuna, Anniversary,
Yeah.
PvP. So look, it is a difficult team to build, but at the same time, there is a one of the kids I look after for my actual job. I always like using his account as a reference point. He started playing when Gear 5 came out, the initial Gear 5. As of right now, he only logs in on big celebrations. So he's only logged in on the One Piece Day celebration, New Year's, the Half Annies, and the worldwide celebrations, and then obviously Anniversary itself. And yes, he's had some pretty good luck, but he actually has, besides Caulifla and Esper, he has this team. This top team. The whole team.
Yeah.
He has the 6+ Kuma, he has 6+ Akainu. He just he plays at the right times. And I think his lineup, excuse me, he runs this, and he runs this. Excuse me.
Huh? Yeah.
Something like that, I think, is his lineup. And it just works.
Yeah.
And it just works so ridiculously well. So whilst, look, it is a pretty hard team to build, there are ways to sort of tweak the team for your account to make sure it's so ridiculously good. And if you sort of did that with strength, like, I feel like you do lose a lot if you don't have the pieces of the puzzle. Int doesn't exactly... It's why I actually have Int a little bit higher than strength. Because if you don't have a piece of the puzzle, say, for example, you don't have Yamato, like, you can just go, sick, I'll throw in Shanks. Or, sick, I'll throw in Luffy.
True.
Or, hell, I'll throw in 6+ Bonnie. Like, and all of these characters tend to work. If you're missing, say, like Sabo, for example, and you have Yamato, you could do something like this, you could do something like this. So the flexibility of shooters, flexibility in is fantastic. Strength, obviously, as you said, they have been just so demonic for so long. Powerhouse driven do obviously suffer from the fact that you do need 150 and every piece.
Yeah.
And that's why and that's why you have free spirit a little bit higher than them, right?
Yeah, but they need Roger to be 150 as well.
Definitely. They do have the waifus too, though. Waifus, they help out a lot too. The waifus are just so good, even at level 99. Strikers, again, whenever I look at this team, I just think, like, you do need the pieces of the puzzle to make this team work. Otherwise, you start losing pieces, like, the team just doesn't function as a top 5 team.
It's not what it,
So, team, if you have this team, like, if you have all these pieces, go run this team. It is one of the most fun teams that I've ever used in PvP. Like the synergy and just the way that it works, it reminds me of like the old school striker team where it shouldn't work, but it does. And this is just fantastic. Dex is just Dex. There's not much to say about that. Slasher, it saddens my soul, so I'm not even going to talk about it. I'll let you talk about this one. Yeah, cool. That's all we're going to say about that.
Support. And they need something. For 2 years.
Wow, they need lots. And then finally, look, this team as well. If you guys have this team, go give this team a try too. This team's a lot of fun. And unfortunately, when Zoro 6+ actually comes to everyone's account, like, it's going to be way too late for this team to actually do anything. But if you have it now, like, or if you haven't checked out the video, go check it out. It's really, really fun. But that's the tier list. That's the team tier list for 2025.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Like, you can switch around a lot in the end. Like, there's no perfect top 10, but like you said, if you like int more or strength more or strikers even.
Yeah, there's a lot of room to move. But look, these are our top 10 best PvP teams. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. If If you did, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. As I mentioned, go check out Itachi's channel. Dude puts out a lot of content for PKA. Even though he doesn't use boosted characters and he does stall a little bit, we do forgive him. That's okay. We still love him.
Yeah, but I'm... I'll build a team now without stalling.
You just need to know that you've fallen off. That's all we know. But in PvP, you go all right. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here, my guy. Take this time to sort of...
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. Hopefully we can tee some more stuff up when it comes to the time difference of something like fucking 12 hours or something ridiculous. But again, thanks for being here. As always, thank you guys for watching. The long form content's coming, so we got a lot more stuff to do. We will have something like a PvP tier list out in the future as well. We might do some stuff on Grand Party, might do some stuff on Assault Rumble. Like I said, if we can tee up the timelines, we'll try and get around to that as well. But like I said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let us know your top 5 teams in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And if you disagree or agree, let us know why down below. But most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one.
See ya.